What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the BCS, the Best City Survives. As we go through, we'll have different videos, one on each division, as we will break down the teams, more like I will, but then you still give your thoughts and opinions, because we will vote on who you think might be the best team afterwards. So today, we're going to be hitting up the ACC. Yes, we're going to start with that division. Why? Because that is the division of our defending champs, which is the 540 Boyz going commando, obviously for his new team, the Commanders. Skins fan 77. He won the title last year because of unfortunate situations. We had to do the whole redraft. We know the whole history of it behind it. So he does not have the same players. He still is the defending champ, and he's got the championship with him. Let's go over some points, positives, and only one real negative on his team, and it seems to be the familiar situation with all of them. First, let's get to his strong point. 2 quarterbacks. That in this league, you do not need quarterbacks. That was one thing we started when we had 20 teams. I was like, it's going to be impossible to even some situations put one. So wisely, we have multiple super flex where you can run anyone. To get 2 quarterbacks, we talked about it all last year, how key that is to winning the championship. His team did have 2 quarterbacks, which was the eventual Heisman. This is our league Heisman trophy. He went on to win the Heisman, which was Josh Allen, who helped carry him multiple times with his stack of Diggs and Allen. So this year, who's he have? He's got Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins. Now, every ranking I have on here is from ESPN. Not the best. I know there's hundreds of different ones. It was just easier for me. They're kind of well trusted. So we'll go off of ESPN. Dak is number 21 overall. Everything on here I'll mention is top 100. That's how I try to gear. Sometimes it's like, how do we know who the best team is? How could I rank them? Throughout the season, we'll see them go up and down with rankings, but it's going to be consistently, even not win-losses, but more based on talent you have. And if you take the top 100 from ESPN, how many of them you have, that's how you can tell how solid your team is. A lot of people have some pretty good pieces, and we'll cover here his. 2 quarterbacks, both top 100. Dak 21, just outside the top 20, and Kirk Cousins. Now they have Kirk Cousins at QB 19. I want to say he finished better than that in fantasy. Maybe they're pulling him back this year. Maybe he won't do as well. I don't know. My money, if I had to, I would still think Kirk Cousins finishes 15 or better. We know when that Minnesota offense, he can put up numbers. His whole career, he's put up numbers. But Dak Prescott, that's the mystery. Amari Cooper looked like he took a step back last year. Still a good receiver, but he went back to his inconsistent. He was consistent at being inconsistent. What's it going to do for Dak now that Cooper's gone? Will it, unleash CeeDee Lamb? Will Dak? I still think Dak's going to be the exact same. So he's got 2 really good quarterbacks. None of them elite, I would say, but both really good. Dak on the border of being elite. Next, a positive is his running backs. He's got 2 starting running backs. Damian Harris of the Patriots. We'll see if his role gets cut. It's hard for me. Sometimes I'm going to want to say, as we talked about, because I have another video show. Here we didn't. So if I do say that, ignore that. But with Damian Harris, he did have 15 touchdowns last year. That's a very tough task to repeat when you have Stevenson. I believe they might have drafted 2 running backs. Anyways, let's get back to Harris. They have him ranked as RB27. I'm okay with that. He could be a little higher up. He could be RB20. He could be another RB2 season like he did last season. Depends what Stevenson does. Nick Chubb, they have him ranked at 31 overall. So there's another top 100 player. So far, everyone we've covered is in the top 100. That's outstanding. I probably won't cover too many guys outside the top 100. Nick Chubb, RB11 overall. I don't know. We're hearing whispers in Cleveland. What do we can expect when Deshaun Watson, if he does play at all, might miss the first half of the year? But how good will that offense be when you have to worry about Deshaun Watson? This could be a great grab later in the season where Nick Chubb, I seriously think, will be an RB1. They have him projected at RB11, so that's an RB1. It all depends on what Harris does for his running back combos. But both top 100, both running backs, anyone's comfortable with starting. The only downside is neither of them are really pass-catching backs. His next strong point, Darren Waller, tight end 6. He can be tight end 2, 3 if he stays healthy. Now we know Devontae Adams is in I almost called him Oakland, in Vegas. So we'll see what happens with Waller. I think it's only going to help Waller because now you've got the deep threat. You kind of had Waller's wasn't his best season, I believe, when Ruggs was there. And Ruggs didn't have a great season his rookie year, but he still took out the top, right, which allowed the underneath stuff. And who excelled more than anyone? Not Renfro, not Ruggs. It was Waller. So let's see what happens now that Adams is there. They still have, now you've got Renfro, you've got extra weapons. That's going to help everyone. And I think Darren Waller is going to be a top 4 tight end. Great play for him. And Smith, Devonta Smith from the Eagles, they have him ranked as, Darren Waller was 76. I don't know if that's because he's 29, getting older, maybe, I don't know. You know, the experts at ESPN, I would think Waller would be higher than that. If you gave me 100 guys to draft, I would pick Waller before I reach 76. So I like that more. Tight end 6, I think he's going to be better than that as well. Smith, 52, wide receiver 18. If he could just stay healthy, which I thought he did for the most part last year, looked outstanding in Philly. It's another example of sometimes people get worried when another guy comes to their team, right? A.J. Brown's now in Philly. Is that going to hurt him? No, it's just going to be like Jalen Waddle with Tyreek Hill. This is actually going to help him. I think Smith is going to excel. And wide receiver 18, if he finishes that, I'm happy. If I'm 540 Boyz, if I'm Skins fan, I'm excited with that because you got a wide receiver 2 to go with your pretty strong running backs and outstanding quarterback. He still has Adam Thielen, who I personally have ranked higher in leagues. I think Thielen has a little bit left. The magic question is always, can he stay healthy? I usually like to throw that out and pretend, let's just pretend they're all healthy. Then Thielen, I think, still has wide receiver 2 potential with those huge games here and there sprinkled in, you know, with Justin Jefferson on the other side. 6 top 100 players, okay? 6 top 100 players. That's positive. His only downside is no one is in the top 20 overall, okay? His closest with Dak Prescott at 21. Still, overall for his team, looking at that team, it's tough to say, you know, you look at that roster and you go, yeah, that's a playoff roster. It's hard to just say when we have to break down other teams and the long season and with the depth. I think he has Julio Jones. I don't know if Julio's going to really do much, you know, where he's not even on a team yet. So when it comes down to these, I think a lot of these teams have good starting rosters. It's going to come down to the bench and who has the stronger bench at the end. So 540 Boyz, overall, it's a weird system with the scoring I have. 56. It's basically you take all their guys' average draft position, or not draft position, based on the rankings from ESPN, and 56. So his guys are average right about there. You want a lower score. The lower the score, that means you have more guys who are ranked in the top 100. So 56 overall. Do what you want with that. Throw it out. Who cares? But that is for our defending champ. Next up, team number 2 in the division. That's MSE 1987. East of the pond. East of the pond, he made a great run last year, made the playoffs, was in the conference championship or division championship, ended up losing, but still, great season for him. He has very strong running backs, in my opinion. He's got Aaron Jones, who's rated 62, RB19. With him, with Jones, everything we hear is from Green Bay is they're going to be splitting. I still think Jones is going to be used more. There's no Devontae Adams anymore, so I think you're going to see a lot more uses of Jones. His contract was, I thought, renegotiated where it's even less. They might, I don't know how many years, if he's got 1 or 2 now, they might say, let's get the heck, everything we can from this guy, bleed him dry, and then let him walk away at the end of the season, and then still preserve A.J. Dillon for the future. So I like Jones more than RB19, just my opinion. I think he is, 27, so he's getting up there. Really like Jones. I really love Travis Etienne as his other running back, RB17. You have 2 RB2s in this 16-team league, just like we were talking about with the 540 Boyz going commando. That's good. That's a solid play right there. Really good start right there for his team. Travis Etienne, we've yet to see it. Robinson not coming back yet, and now a whole new team, a whole new offense. We'll see. Who knows what to expect. You want to still judge it based off his ability in college. We know from everything I've heard, it seems like he's Alvin Kamara light. And that's what I was expecting. So we'll see how the offense is going to go. Until we don't know, it's a mystery, but we know Etienne has the talent. Can he get it done in Jacksonville? One of my favorite on here is Tyreek Hill. ESPN has him at 29. Obviously, with the new change in Miami, his ranking is going to drop. They have him at wide receiver 9, though. So he's still a top 10 wide receiver, just not a top 20 player. That's an interesting point. With all the rookies and everyone added in, if I didn't go through the list, I would be interested to see where I would go for Tyreek Hill. Because personally, in several leagues I'm in, I traded for Tyreek Hill even after the Dolphin trade and before, right before. But I'm excited to see what he does there. I think he's going to do excellent with Tua in that offense. So, strong wide receiver. His quarterback, Russell Wilson, they have top 30, QB 9. Okay, yeah, I got that in Denver. I think I mean, it's Russell Wilson. Well, he's going to do great. He's going to be a QB1. We're not need to waste our time about that. His second quarterback, Mac Jones, QB18. I could see that. He doesn't have incredible rush upside. He doesn't have an offense. It's more, balanced. It's a balanced offense, which means the running backs are not going to be RB1s for the most part, and the quarterbacks are not going to be QB1s. They're balanced and they're good. They're good. They're safe plays, right? They're the safe play. I really like that. So you have a good quarterback, actually elite quarterback in Russell Wilson, and a good one in Mac Jones. Two quarterback teams, I promise you, unless something goes haywire, two quarterback teams, and I think I'd have to go through all the teams. I'm sure we should have that in this league now, but I don't know. I know with 20 teams we didn't. 16 teams, we'll see. So you need to have two quarterbacks, most part, to succeed throughout the season. You don't need them to win, right? Just win your division game and the championship. You can get lucky without him, but for the most part, consistently through the season, you need two. And he's got two, a great one and a really good one. Good one. Wide receiver Michael Thomas. They have him listed in the top 100. He's been MIA the last two seasons. We don't know what's going to happen now with him and Winston in that offense. How is he going to be used? They have him at wide receiver 29. To me, I don't know. I mean, yeah, if you told me he finished wide receiver 39, I wouldn't be shocked. If you told me he finished wide receiver 18, I wouldn't be shocked. If you said he finished top 12, that would shock me. That I have to see it. When you haven't been in football this much and you've been injured and you've had problems with chemistry with the team, and I know it's a new coaching staff and new quarterback he hasn't really played with much. We'll see what happens there. But like the last team, like Skins Fan 77, MSC 1987, he has 6 top 100 guys. His average is just a tad better than our last team at 54. So you can, based on those points, you can rank it and say, okay, he's the second so far, or you can go, who cares? I'll look at the team and see how you like it. To me, probably, I want to say this next team we cover is probably my favorite in the division, if I had to make a choice. Now, after all these videos are done, after we break it all down, we will have a top 10, or actually we're going to do top 8 since there's 16 teams. We will do top 8 rankings for the BCS rankings before the season starts, after that we see some preseason and all that stuff. But we'll do each division probably every couple weeks or once a month. We'll try to get through it, break it down, and like I said, I'll leave it open for vote as well. This team, Bishop Sycamore, and if you know who that is Super Freak at 21. His team was so good last year, so consistent, had a couple tough breaks with injuries, but yeah, for the most part, until injuries, he was one of the favorite teams. With the new draft, oh my goodness, elite running backs, easily, without even going through all the other teams, I would have to put his team number 1. He's got Jonathan Taylor, number 2 overall on ESPN. I still don't know who number 1 was. I forgot to look. Usually, if we're drafting, Jonathan Taylor's going first. In our league, well, with the Superflex, it would probably be a quarterback. But Jonathan Taylor, number 2, RB1. And Javonte Williams of the Broncos, number 9, RB3. So he's got 2 of the top 3 running backs. That is gigantic. That is such an advantage over other teams. Taylor's going to do the same thing. Now, we know Melvin Gordon's back in Denver. Gordon had a pretty good season, but a lot of his were one big runs, right? Like he'd get some work, get a few passes. Hey, he was 7 points, 8 points to the game, and then he might break a 50-yard touchdown. And now, hey, he went from 8 points to 22 points or something outrageous. It didn't matter. In the end, points are points. My point is, I think Gordon's still going to get work. They didn't bring him back for nothing, so they don't overwork Williams. But I do like Williams to still have his talent and his usage increase, and I think he will finish within the top 6. All right, if he's RB, I don't know if he'll be RB3 with Gordon there and with Russell Wilson. It'll allow him to have better games, but throughout the season, maybe Gordon will have a better game on certain weeks, so it kind of hinders him from being that Jonathan Taylor type. Still, elite running backs. His wide receivers are nice, not elite, okay? They both have inconsistent history. Number 1, Mike Williams. They have him at 79 overall, right? So we talked about Williams and Taylor, 9 and so he had 2 top 10s already, but he's got Williams at 79 at wide receiver 28. Finally had a really good year last year, stayed healthy for the most part. He still had those games where when you needed him most, he would come out with like a 6 or 7 point game, but still, he looked outstanding. Maybe because it was a contract year, I don't know. I'm not going to get on that side of the aspect, but still, I like him. When you have this running back tandem, I'll take Mike Williams all day. And Amari Cooper, number 61 overall, and wide receiver 23. I think Cooper will finish as a wide receiver 2, right? I think he will finish in that top 24. I wonder what he's going to be like the second half once Watson comes back. I think with Cooper and at the end, I mean, he had Dak Prescott, he had Derek Carr. Cooper has been a great receiver and an elite receiver at times, and at other times you wonder, does he check out, right? Like the New England game a couple years ago with the Cowboys, where he just kind of had, I think he had no catches or one catch. Yeah, just things where you're just like, he just pulls himself out. So that's the one mystery with Cooper. Cooper and Williams, they both have, Williams I'm more excited about this year, signing that deal, Chargers committing to him, and I think he's going to say, okay, you gave me the money, let's show you what I can do again. Cooper, I'm still a mystery, but I still think he will be a wide receiver 2 at worst. So 2 really good, when you can put those receivers that I'm okay with that could come away with 20-point games any week, and then give those running backs, and now an elite tight end. Travis Kelce, we know he's coming back later in his career, right? He's towards the end, but with Juju there now and losing Tyreek Hill, Kelce's going to be the same. I'm saying there's other weapons, no outstanding elite receivers around, but he's still going to heavily involved in Kelce. Love it. They have him as tight end 3, 48 overall, so another top 50 player. His quarterbacks, that would be the only thing. Tom Brady is going to come back again, and I think Brady's going to go out and have another QB1 season. It's just for our league as a keeper, it's more worried about next year, right? So we're not even going to worry about that. If we talked about as a franchise as a whole, QB situation, he's in a bad situation. But this season, Tom Brady, sign me up. With this team, awesome. Tom Brady's, good thing he's back. QB 10, they have 37 overall, another top 50 player, not just top 100. Look at all the top 50 players we're going through. He's older, but he's still elite. And then I think, I'm sorry, I didn't double check. I thought his other quarterback could have been Mitch Trubisky, who might not even start. I didn't really see any other quarterback on his team, and I don't have a chance to look right now. But like I said, next year, he's worried about now, and he has a real chance to win. If Mitch Trubisky is the starter, I think he's good enough for fantasy purposes to go with Brady and everyone else. And he's got, he has some usable pieces on the bench. CEH, right? Nobody's in love with him, but he's number 89 overall, right? He's a top 100 player. RB28, I could see him having RB28 at the end of the year, but having those games for an 18-point game, a 22-point game, and then followed with like a 9-point game. So I could see something like that. He's a good spot to come in. I mean, he's not going to pull Williams or Taylor, or if there's an injury, at least he has 4 usable pieces on his bench. Okay, that's the key. You can look up his roster if you'd like, but he has 4 usable pieces to put from his bench. That's why I feel Super Freak and his Bishop Sycamore are one of the top teams coming in, at least coming out of the ACC. I have to go over the rest of the teams. There's a lot of good teams this year. Just retracting 4 teams, the talent has increased, and the redraft has been was outstanding. So there's a lot of good teams. It's going to be hard to pick the top 8. But I will say he would definitely be, right now, if I had to pick top 8, no way Super Freak is not on there. Super Freak 21. He has 7 top 100 guys. If you go through the list, I think he had 1, 2, 3, 4 guys top 50. His average score, remember we talked about the low, 39. Now the 2 running backs help. That totally brings it down, but it doesn't matter what brings it down. 39. You just heard how the other 2 were 54 and 56. That's why I'm scared, and I'm glad I'm not in the ACC this year, or any year. All right, let's get to our last team. This was a team that struggled, did not, I want to say, I don't know how many victories he even got last year, but he was not in playoff contention. That is JT2603, JT2603. I really like his team. Let's go over it. Running backs, Antonio Gibson, RB29. He's number 26 on ESPN list. There is some fear with the draft. I don't know what the fear is. I never was a huge Gibson guy. I thought he could be an RB1, which he has been, I believe. I think he could be a top 12 running back or top 15, even fall. I think he has good games. I think he has great games when he plays a bad defense. I think he's matchup dependent at times, and we'll see, right? We'll see now with the new quarterback. He might even be better. We'll see what happens. I like Gibson. They have him at RB9. I think that's a little low. I would maybe have him RB12, but either way, he could be an RB1. Great piece. The next one is my personal, you can't see it completely on there. That's the bottom of them. Saquon Barkley. This is my son's room. Huge Barkley fan, so I'm biased. They have him at RB13, 38th overall. So 2 top 40 guys right there. RB13. If the Giants would just improve, which is easier said than done, learn how to improve that offensive line and use them properly like they did his first 2 years. The last few years, I mean, he was injured. He's got injury history, and then they can't get anything done for him. So I feel like he's wasting his career there. But these are 2 potential RB1s any given week and even on the season. So I really like JT 2603's running backs. Outstanding. Good players there. Here's another plus. Mike Evans, 56. We talked about Brady coming back. Evans here's his career. He's probably right about here, getting closer towards the end. But still, excellent receiver. We saw what he did in the playoff game against the Rams. He could still get it done against anyone. 56 overall, top 100, and he's wide receiver 21. With Brady back, I wondered if this was kept before Brady came back. I'm taking Evans to be way higher than that. I think Evans will be inside the top 19. Brandon Ayuk, 82, wide receiver 31. We'll see. With Trey Lance, I have no clue. I know he hit that big touchdown to him last year. Maybe they have chemistry. I don't know. We have to wait and see. But I expect Ayuk, I would think this is the year he takes a step forward, right? The 3rd year, this is what they want. So I expect Ayuk to step up. I'm excited. This is a good balance. 2 good running backs who are about to hit in their prime years. You got Mike Evans, who's almost on the way out of his prime, still in a top, I would consider a Pro Bowl receiver. Brandon Ayuk, who could be the proving point where this is it. This is his time. Devin Singletary. Just cracked. He's number 99 on ESPN. Just cracked the top 100. They have him RB31 with Cook there now. Yeah, I would say RB25, right? Maybe RB25 to 31, which is not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. You've got Gibson and Barkley, Evans and Ayuk. You need Ayuk to step up, like we're hoping, and then Singletary is not bad, right? He's not bad. Here's one of the knocks. I'm saving his best for last. Here's one of his knocks. Daniel Jones. Jones is a quarterback who I would be comfortable with if I had a really good roster on a super flex or our type of league where you can put him in and you can expect a 20, 18, 25-point game, but you have a fear of the 9-point game, the oh my gosh, on the road at Philly, on the road at whatever defense where you're just like, man, he's not going to get it done. They're going to struggle. You got to hope maybe that they'll turn it around somehow. This is it for him. He's got to show up or get out because I don't have faith in him, but for fantasy purposes, I'm okay. He would be on this roster as we're talking about JT's team. He would be a minus, but he is a starting quarterback who can have big games. So you're okay with that. You'll take that when you have Evans, Gibson, Barkley. But you're going to need Gibson and Barkley for JT 2603 to make a division push for this division championship game towards the end of the year. He's going to have Gibson and Barkley have those big games and carry them, or Daniel Jones is going to have to show up some of these weeks for 25, 30-point games. He's got to do that. He's got to help carry the load, right? One of another plus, he's got 3 bench players, very nice backup pieces. Go through his roster and check it yourself. 3 nice pieces. Like I said, those are the teams that are going to win because you saw Super Freak last year lose. I thought it was Russell Wilson. Yeah, you lose a huge piece like that on a 20-team league. There's not a lot of depth, and it's tough. And now you trade your pieces to get a new quarterback or something, you're hurt. So with the 16 teams, you're allowed a little more depth. We see more teams like this, but not every team. I didn't see the 540 boys, our defending champ, have the great depth that I see JT 2603. And you can't start all these pieces, but throughout the season with bye weeks or injuries, these are the kind of teams that squeak their way by and try to get in. So I do like his thing. And now the last piece on his team, last year's defending Heisman Trophy winner is on his team, and that is Josh Allen, the number 1 rated player for ESPN. That's who it was, who they had ranked number 1. I couldn't remember over JT, Jonathan Taylor, and it's Josh Allen. In our league, he was number 1, and I could see why, and I expect him to be number 1 again. So anytime you have a guy like this, ask our champion. There were weeks where his team was down 42 points. It was like a Monday night game. I was beating him, I want to say by 49, 50. I thought I had it in the bag. Josh Allen and Diggs went off, and he ended up beating me, coming back scoring like 60 points. So you don't have the combo here, the stack, but still, Josh Allen is a huge part. The Heisman Trophy winner helped win the championship. Maybe it can propel JT 2603 to the division championship at the end of the season. So that is it with the ACC. I hope you guys like the presentation. Let me know what you think, and be sure to vote on who you think might be the best team after checking out the rosters. And we'll look forward to you. The next division I believe I am doing is the Big Ten. Yes, that we will be doing the Big Ten next, hitting that one up. I got to write all the details and go over all the information, plus minuses. So stay tuned. That'll probably be sometime in the beginning or middle of July, unless I got time and I get it done right before the end of June. All right? Have a good day, guys. Talk to you later.